Flora, Ulysses.
By DiCamillo.
Thank you. You saved us, Messiah. So the book starts off where someone, the neighbor, gets the super duper, Mrs. Tickman, Tootie Tickman, gets a super duper vacuum cleaner. She goes out the next morning and she vacuums up a squirrel. I'm just going to say my dad would love to vacuum up a squirrel because he does not like squirrels in his yard. During the squirrel saving, when they saved his life, they thought that possibly the vacuumed up squirrel who had lost some hair was probably a superhero because he could lift up a vacuum, all bald and everything. So they named him after the vacuum cleaner, which was called the Ulysses 2000X. So we're thinking he is possibly, maybe, a superhero. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having snack right now. Hello. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So we are figuring out the dad, who is always sad, is now glad because he's hanging out with Flora, and they figure out that the mom, who is the arch nemesis, wants Ulysses to be
Dead.
Thank you for saying that word. I did not want to say it, especially in school. So, are we on chapter 47? Yes. Flying squirrels. Why, Flora wondered, did everything become silent when Ulysses flew? Wasn't he just flying that morning? It had been the same in the giant donut, at least until everyone started screaming. It was as if some small piece descended. The world became dreamy, beautifully slow. Flora looked around her and she smiled. The sun was shining into the kitchen, illuminating everything. Illuminating is a fancy way to say light up. Illuminating, I-L-L, illuminating. I bet you guys could use all of your little foundation patterns to spell illuminate. Ulysses' whiskers, the typewriter keys, the father's upturned and smiling face. See, Dad is glad. And her mother's astonished and disbelieving one. Show me your astonished, disbelieving expressions. I can't believe this is happening. There's a squirrel, the one I sent out to be buried, flying into the kitchen, like squirrels do, right? Even William Spiver was illuminated, his white hair glowing like a wild halo. What is it? Said William Spiver. What is going on? Oh, remember, he cannot see. Flora's father laughed. Do you see, Phyllis? Do you see? Anything can happen. Ulysses floated above them. He zoomed down to the ground and then went shooting back up to the ceiling. He looked behind him and performed a lazy midair backflip. Boo! For the love of Pete, said Flora's mother in a strange and wooden voice. Someone tell me something, said William. Chaos is going on. And he can't see it. He must feel left out. Ulysses dived down again and he flew past William Spiver's right ear. Ah! What was that? Said William. The squirrel, said Flora's mother in her strange new voice. He is flying. She stood up suddenly. Right, she said. Okay, I have to go upstairs and take a nap. Why would she take a nap in the middle of all this excitement? She doesn't believe her eyes. You are right. which was an odd thing for her to say because Flora's mother was not in any way a napper. In fact, she was an anti-napper. She did not believe in naps at all. She often said that they were a big, fat waste of time. Yes, a little nap, that is what I need. Flora's mother walked out of the kitchen and closed the door behind her. Ulysses landed on the table next to the typewriter. It's not that shocking, said William. There are flying squirrels, you know. They do exist. In fact, there are some theories that all squirrels are descended from the flying squirrel. In any case, flying squirrels themselves are a documented fact. Wait, so it's not just Ulysses being a superhero?
Yes, it is.
Ulysses looked at William Spliver and then over at Flora, and he reached out a paw and hit a key on the typewriter. Boop. How about a flying squirrel that types, said Flora. Well, that's not as well documented, admitted William Spliver. Ulysses hit another key. Boop. And then another. Boop. Holy bagumba, said Flora's father. He flies. He vanquishes cats. And he types. He's a superhero, said Flora. It's amazing, said her father. It's wonderful, but I think I'd better go have a quick word with your mother about the, whole situation. Chapter 48, Banished. Clack, clack, clack. Flora stood silently. William Spiver stood silently. The squirrel typed. Flora Bell, said William Spiver. Uh-huh, said Flora. I wanted to make sure you were still here. Where else would I be, said Flora. Well, I don't know, said William. You did say you were moving out. My mother wants me to leave, said Flora. I don't know if she exactly said what she meant, said William. I think she was surprised, and perhaps her feelings were hurt, and she certainly didn't express herself very well. Shocking, really, that a romance novelist could be so inept in her language of heart. Clack, clack, clack. That's right, I forgot. Last time we read, Flora's mother was mean and said that it would be better if she was living with her father, but it was the way she said it, like, I don't have time for you. It would be okay with her. And it was like hurting her feeling. Hurting her feelings. Aww. So she's mad that Flora's mad that the mother wants to kill her and finds that romance novel writing is more interesting than her daughter, and she is also mad that the mother said, my life would be easier if she lived with her dad. That is so heartless. That is like the meanest mom ever. It's like she has rabies or something.
Yeah.
Because moms don't say that.
Never ever.
Unless there's an imposter in the mom's body.
Like Miss Daisy is crazy.
Like Miss Daisy is crazy. Well, she said it would be easier without me, said Flora. Yes, well, he pushed his glasses back up on his nose. He pulled out a chair and sat down at the kitchen table, and he sighed a deep sigh. My lips are numb, said Flora. I know that feeling, said William, having suffered through several traumatic episodes myself. I am very familiar with the body manifestations of grief. What happened to you, said Flora. I was banished. Banished? It was a word that Flora could feel in the pit of her stomach, a small cold stone of a word. Why were you banished? I think the more relevant question would be, who banished me? Okay, who banished you? My mother, said William. Another mean mom. Sheesh, they're going to take my title away from me.
Mom.
Flora felt another stone fall to the bottom of her stomach. Why? She said. Oh, there was an unfortunate incident involving my mother's new husband, a man who is not my father, a man who bears the name Tyrone. Where's your father? Asked Flora. He died. Oh.
Oh.
One more stone sank to the bottom of her stomach. My father, my real father, was a man of great humanity and intelligence. He also had a delicate feet. Very tiny, delicate feet. I too am small of foot. Not that is any relevant information. In any case, my father was a man who could play the piano wonderfully. He had an in-depth knowledge of astronomy. He liked to consider the stars. His name was William. But he's dead. And now my mother is married to a man named Tyrone who does not have delicate feet and who is supremely unaware that there are even stars in the sky. The mysteries of the universe mean nothing to him. He sold my father's piano. Ouch.
What?
He is a man who refuses to call me William. Instead of he refers to me as Billy.
Billy?
Billy is a nickname for William.
What?
Yes. My brother's name is William. And we always call him Billy. My name, as you know, is not now, nor has ever been, nor will ever be Billy. I took issue and was being so addressed. I repeatedly took issue, and after repeatedly taking issue and repeatedly being ignored, one thing led to another, and some irrevocable acts occurred. Irrevocable means you cannot turn back. Ear means not. And thus I was banished. What thing led to another thing? What irrevocable acts occurred? It is complicated, said William Spiver. I don't want to talk about it right now, but as long as we are asking each other questions of the emotional fraught nature, why did you say that your mother wanted a lamp for a daughter? It's complicated, said Flora. Oh, I'm certain that it is, and I will emphasize. Was another, I empathize, not empathize, empathize, meaning he could feel that her pain. There was another long silence, punctuated by the clacking of the typewriter keys. The squirrel is working on another poem, I suppose, said William.
My mouth.
I guess, said Flora. It sounds like a long one, epic in nature. What in the world would a squirrel have to write about at such length? Can you fix yourselves? A lot has happened today, said Flora. It was late afternoon. The shadows of the elm and the maple in the backyard entered the kitchen and flung themselves in purple lines across the floor. Wow. The shadows flung themselves. That's like, can shadows really throw themselves?
No, shadows just follow it unless you throw yourself.
Shadows, right, and then your shadow could. But shadows just follow the sun. But it's so dramatic when you give a personal activity to a shadow or an inanimate object. Flora would miss those shadows when she moved away. She would miss the trees. She supposed she would even possibly miss William Spiver. And then, almost as if he were reading his mind, you could pick that up and throw it in the garbage. What you just did there. William said, I meant what I said. I'm here because I was looking for you. I had missed you. Flora's heart, the lonely, manly armed squid of it, flipped and flailed inside of her. She opened her mouth to say that it didn't matter. Not really, not now. But as usual, what she intended to say to William and what she actually said were two different things. The sentence intended to say it doesn't matter, but the sentence said, have you ever heard of a place called Blundermeakin? Pardon me? Said William. He held up his right hand. I don't mean to alarm you, but do you smell smoke? Flora sniffed. She did smell smoke. Now there was going to be a fire on top of everything else, for the love of Pete.
Why do you keep always saying that?
I know, right? And that is the end of chapter 49.
What? Wow. Two chapters. Two.
49?
I can have it.
No, that's the end of 48. That was 47 and 48. Tomorrow we'll find out what is on fire.